stop to think about how a city comes to be, not just the concrete and steel, but the whole idea of it. Well, today we're diving deep into urbanization. It's this massive global shift of people into cities, and believe me, it's a force that is completely reshaping our world and how we live. So let's get into it. All right, so here's our roadmap. First, we'll nail down what urbanization actually is. Then we're going to look at the rule book, how cities are organized. After that, we'll hit the rewind button to see how they got started, then jump back to the present to explore their impact, the good and the bad. And finally, we'll take a peek into the future of city life. Okay, first things first. Let's tackle that big, fundamental question. What exactly is urbanization? When you boil it all down, it's pretty straightforward. Urbanization is what happens when more and more people start to pack into cities. It's this huge migration pattern, people moving from rural, countryside areas into urban centers and all the suburbs that surround them. And the sheer scale of this is, frankly, mind-boggling. Right now, for the very first time in all of human history, more than half of every single person on this planet lives in a city. That's not just a statistic, that's a monumental change in the way our entire species lives. So, you've got billions of us crammed into these urban areas. How do we keep things from turning into complete and utter chaos? Well, it all comes down to planning, what you might call the rules of urban space. The key idea here is something called land use. It's basically just a term for all the different ways we humans use a piece of land. And to make sure we don't build a factory right next to a school, cities create these rule books called zoning codes to lay out the plan and enforce it. So, what kinds of uses are we talking about? Well, you've got residential, which is just where people live, and fun fact, that makes up the huge majority of land in U.S. cities. Then you have commercial for stores and businesses, industrial for factories, and sometimes you see what's called mixed use, which kind of blends them together. Now, one of the most common ways to organize all this is called Euclidean zoning. The whole point is to keep different types of land use separate. And you can see the logic, right? Historically, it made a ton of sense. The original goal was literally to keep people's homes from being right next to loud, smoky, polluting factories. And this is exactly what it looks like in the real world. You get this very clear separation. Over here, you have all the houses where people live. And way over there, you have the industrial park where things get made. A place for everything and everything in its place. But, and this is a big but, this separation has led to some major unintended problems. I mean, if everything is separated, what do you have to do? You have to travel farther to work, farther to the store. And all that travel leads directly to monster traffic jams, which pumps out air pollution and climate-changing emissions. It's also, unfortunately, been a tool that has led to more segregation and discrimination in many places. Okay, so that's a quick look at how cities are organized. But how did we even get cities in the first place? To understand that, we have to rewind the clock all the way back from these giant skylines to simple farms. It all kicked off with the invention of farming. Think about it. Step 1. Once we had farms, people could raise their own food instead of wandering around looking for it. Step 2. With a steady supply of food, not everyone had to be a farmer anymore. People could specialize in other things, becoming craftsmen or merchants. And step 3, that specialization created trade, and trade required new tech, like roads and ports, to move stuff around. And just like that, villages grew into towns, and towns grew into cities. And here's the wild part. That ancient process is still happening today, just on a much more high-tech scale. Modern agriculture is so incredibly efficient that you need way fewer workers to produce way more food. That frees up millions of people to leave the farm and head to the city for different kinds of jobs. This whole movement is